Hello, everybody. This video is actually beginning of a series, say series one of Elijah, the prophet, um, and I'm doing it kind of simultaneously, doing Elijah and Elijah. But anyway, the Lord told me to do this, but I try to allow the Lord to take things in my past and manifest that which is the future. And the thing is with Elijah the prophet, there's a lot that we can learn in the prophetic through him, and that's why I'm going to do the series on him, because it's so incredible, and activate the gift of miracles in your life, and to obey the Lord to your fullest. But anyway, Elijah, just to paraphrase and to get it back on context, Elijah, the story, he was at, God hid him in Mount Carmel, and he drank water out of the brook, and he had the ravens feed him by day, and by night, fish and bread from the ravens. And when that water dried up, right, and every prophet's going to probably go through this, but when that particular season runs out and another one is going to start, the quicker you respond to God and the quicker you hear his voice for the next season. A word spoken in season, how good is it? So Elijah, he was quickened, and he sought the Lord, and the Lord said to him, "Arise and go to Zarephath, the widow woman, and she shall sustain thee there." Remember that? So he does that, and he goes there, and he sees her at the gate, and so here's the question: how did Elijah, this widow woman, how did she identify him as a prophet? How did she know he wasn't just a stranger, or she didn't know him in the natural? How did she know? Well, everybody in that day, I mean, she was ready to go in with her son, make a little cake, and let her son eat it and her eat it and die. She was at her last little bit of meal, and that was it. And so Elijah comes popping into her life, and God already gave him the word of the Lord, which that widow woman would sustain him. The prophet is sustained by a widow. That takes humility. And anyway, so he says to her, no. He says, go in there and make me a little cake first. And so she knew that he was, he wasn't skin and bone, because he had been eating steaks every morning and every evening. He was not real skinny. And everybody in the land was, because it was a drought and it was real severe, right? And nobody had any food, and everything was running out. And see, that's when the prophet does his best work, when it's almost gone, when everything is just about had it. That's when God uses the prophet to do miracles. But anyway, that's when the demand is put on, and you got to find the right person in season. And this was a widow woman. No longer is the brook, and no longer is the ravens any good. You got to find out where Zarephath, where this widow woman is, and she will sustain you there. And so he arose and went there, and the lady went in, made a cake for Elijah. He ate it, and the meal barrel never stopped, and the cruse of oil did not fail until the drought was over. Okay, so this miracle was sustaining throughout the miracle. It was through that duration of the length of time of that drought that was called by Elijah. So even though he was the one that called the drought, he also, God provided in the drought. And a lot of times we got to find that provision When things get really bad, hearing the word of the Lord is imperative. We got to know what he's saying. And the thing is I had a scenario in my life where my son and my daughter, and I just realized lately through my one daughter um, that I had a little tiny cruse of oil and a little meal barrel. And I had always put them up there as a little replica. It was about not even an inch big. And I put it up on the mantle of my fireplace, my house in America. And when I left that, my son came to me and said, "Oh, Dad, you won't believe what happened." And he was really moved because it scared him, to be honest. And what had happened is when I left, the mantle of the fireplace exploded, just the mantle, and burned up completely. And God was saying that he was removing the mantle from off that place that was no longer going to be there. And it's surprisingly what God will do to bring you a narrative, if you will, or a picture, a revelation, an understanding of a principle of the kingdom. And anyway, it's good to seek the Lord like Elijah did. Like as soon as the brook ran out, soon as the ravens didn't come one time, the quicker you respond to God, the quicker he's going to answer. And he answered Elijah and told him where to go. He wasn't guessing. It wasn't, multiple choice. And so anyway, I say we have to do the same thing. We have to hear what the Lord is speaking and do it. But anyway, until next time, may God bless.